have more problems, but it's better than.
Oh, that's good, that's good.
Okay. Can I get a motion to come out of executive session?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the Town of Orangetown Town Board meeting of June 11th, 2024. On a roll call.
Councilman Paul Valentine.
Here.
Councilman Jerry Batari.
Here.
Councilman Brian Donahue.
Here.
Councilman Dan Sullivan.
Here.
Supervisor Teresa Kenny.
Here. And we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So we're going to start with a discussion item, which is an amendment to the Memorandum of Understanding with Reveal and a review of the revised concept plan. So we will start by inviting the applicant up to.
Good evening, Supervisor Kenny, members of the Town Board. For the record, my name is Taylor Palmer. I'm a partner with the law firm of Cuddy & Fader on behalf of the applicant. Tonight, we are appearing before you on behalf of our highly experienced, motivated development team, the Reveal Project, to discuss some of the changes that we've incorporated into our site plan. As the board knows, we were selected as the town's preferred developer for Reveal's proposal to redevelop the former IBM property that we all formerly know as the H&A Palisades Premier Conference Center. Somehow it's been 3 years since we first presented the redevelopment vision for the property, and now we're just days away from closing on the site. Back then, amidst the pandemic, the Knicks were giving us a hope of a playoff run, and at least 3 years from now, we can say goodbye to the Rangers and the Knicks. They've already let those playoff hopes go away for us. Turning back to the project, we are very excited to have the opportunity to present our refined development proposal and our speed to market with the public benefits associated with our project. So if I may, before I turn it over to my development team to share the details of the project that's before you all, for the benefit of the town board and those members of the public this evening who are in attendance or listening at home. Tonight we will be discussing the project that's envisioned for the 106-acre property of land that's on the western side of Route 9, on the eastern side of 340. It's in the town's currently existing office park zoning district. The former IBM property is currently improved by 3 interconnected buildings. It totals approximately 425,000 square feet, which were previously used by IBM for a hotel and executive purposes. The buildings do include 206 existing hotel rooms, a conference center, restaurant, fitness center, and swimming pool, and common hallways and lounge areas. Some other improvements, which we'll show you in our slideshow in just a few minutes, have fallen into disrepair, include certain landscaped areas, small outbuildings, tennis courts, stormwater ponds, a helicopter landing pad, and other at-grade parking facilities. So moving back to 2021, where the town issued its request for expressions of interest, the applicant was ultimately identified as the town's preferred developer. And the town at that time had an overall goal of maximizing the redevelopment of this underutilized property and for the benefit of the community. And the redevelopment was envisioned to include a mix of single-unit, compatible, commercial, hotel, residential, live-work uses, and a whole host of other uses that were laid out in your request for expressions of interest. After careful consideration, back in June of 2021, our team was selected to move forward with the property, and now we're in contract with the now owner, SL Green, in the sale of the property. To that end, for the fun part, and I promise now I'll pass the mic off to my colleagues. Of course, we do get paid by the word, so we wanted to make sure we get all this background in. By way of brief introduction, I am joined first by Pegah Ebrahimi, who is the founder and managing partner of FPV Ventures. Prior to FPV Ventures, Pegah was the COO of Cisco and Morgan Stanley. Next, we have, well, I was doing it in order, but I'll go in order of my list, just so I have it all here. We have Mark Kitching, who's the Director of Estates. He's in the red, from the firm of Douglas Elliman, which is the largest real estate brokerage company in the metropolitan area. Our project designer in the blue shirt is Jerome Pelayo, founder of Asinia Homes, a development company that specializes in community and sustainability. And rounding out our development team here next to Pega is Joe Santulo, who's the founder of the CEO of Systems 2000, where he worked on very iconic buildings in the city, which include the Beresford in Central Park West, the Printing House, and the Future Building. He's also a master plumber and mechanical restoration expert. So with that brief introduction, I will turn it over to Pega to please walk us through a slideshow. Hopefully, you can see it behind me. Okay, great. And if any questions, we're certainly here to address those. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, before, go for it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joe. I know I should be addressing the town board, but I'll be looking this way too, if that's all right. So here we are. We are the team that was awarded, as you know, the IBM Executive Campus, and we put a lot of thought into where we were before and much more thought into where we are now. And I just want you to understand that we want this to be a crown jewel for your town, and we are not going anywhere. We are not these big bad developers that come in and make a mess and a muck out of things. We're not that type of person or people, especially I live right across the bridge. I live in Bedford. I am born in this local area, not too far from here, about 18 miles. And my family, I have 5 children. My wife is here with me. This is going to be something that I'm going to be very proud of for generations to come. And I just want you to know that I know there's a lot of things that are in people's minds that, oh my God, we're making it too big, or it's going to be overwhelming, or today, to sustain a piece of property, you need a certain amount of, let's call it, density. And we're not going to go over that, I promise you that, but I can tell you this, that one day, very soon, hopefully, we're going to be starting on the hotel, and we're going to open up a wonderful place for everyone in this town, especially in this town, to enjoy, to walk on a Saturday morning, to take their time on an evening after work, to walk the property, to have a place to go have a cup of coffee, or have a place to enjoy a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon with their friends, or have a wedding, a bar mitzvah, or whatever else it may be that's important to you and your family, and start the memories of what was once a gem in this town, because I was lucky to meet some people and see some videos of the original architect who built this place, and I think he put his heart and soul into it. And the first time I walked into the building, I kind of felt it. I've seen a lot of buildings, some of the largest and most expensive buildings in Manhattan. I'm usually at town board meetings like this for something totally different, is like when a building either blows up, or there is a very, let's call it, imminent disaster. Like not too long ago, we had a whole block in New York City underwater. I'm the company they call to restore the systems, and I have to meet with thousands of people and tell them that they're going to be back in their homes very soon, and we make sure we see it to the bitter end, and we break every record that we ever set. But what I'm trying to tell you very simply is, the building that's there now is in basic disintegration, and we're going to show you some sites. This is the road that's there now. And if you see, I just want you to understand that this road that you're looking at, that is a road where a tractor trailer is supposed to drive through, right? And that's probably one of the better sides of this property. There's trees, there's lanterns. The roof is on its last leg in this building, and this is a 450,000 square foot building. And when I say, if you look at the mold that's just grown and the overgrown, that there's grass in the building, there's wildlife that lives in the building. I'm worried about the roof more than anything else, because once it starts to fail, that's mold, that's in the first and second floor of the hotel side. If we don't jump on this quickly, this building is going to be so far gone that it might not be repairable, like as far as the expense goes. And I'm gonna let Pega, there's a turkey. He was in there last, 2 weeks ago. But we want to take this building and make it something that we are proud of, and in turn, that this town and this township and the people that live in it are proud to say it's there in their town, but also, we want to add to the actual presence that's here with people that care about this town to live here as well. And I'm going to give it over to Pega. Okay, I will keep going. So here we are. I'll just go through a couple things. So let's start with the site plan, if you don't mind. Okay? Which is back. Okay, so this is the site. There's the current site, as you can see. And you can see the density of this. The building that says, you see the site, the building right below that with the 3 tiers and the little box, that's the hotel. And above that is the golf course, right? Can you just go back to that one more time? Okay. So you see this side, the bottom side of the building. Everything that's reddish is a building, and everything that's like grayish is a road and parking. And then there's some buildings that you don't see right now because they're just not in the picture. There's some this way, and there's some this way. It's for more like, their utilities. However, so the commercial side, which is on the bottom, which is the conference side, that's a huge building. And when I tell you huge, it is like a 70-story tower in New York City standing straight up, just laying down on the ground here. That's the only difference. This building's laying down while you look at a skyscraper looking up. It's the same type of, let's call it, square footage. And it's got the same types of systems. It needs chillers to cool. It needs these huge boilers to heat. And in order to actually keep it going, this picture is from Google, and it's from a long time ago, and it's when the building was in good shape. In order to keep this building going, it has to be ventilated correctly. As we all know, it has not been touched in years. We're going on, I think, 5 or 6 years now. And if anybody's ever seen movies when they shut down power in New York, what do you need, 2 years and there's deer running through the streets? This place is to that degree of where it's, it needs a lot of rehabilitation and TLC. However, so now, if you look at the density, what we plan to do, I want you to look at real quickly, is not too much. It really isn't. If you look at it, these are homes with a lot of space in between them, and they aren't going to be, let's call it, we're going to work with the committee and the boards to make sure that they're happy of what we put in here. And I spoke to people tonight, and I said, you can come pick the bricks with me, and I mean every word of it. I'm going to be the one in charge of a lot of these things, and I'm going to be here, feet on the ground, boots on the ground every day. This is what we're looking at to do. It's taking up 22.7% of the actual 106 acres. That's all it is, 22.7. It's not a lot. Now, I just want you to understand something, that's even close to sustaining the property itself, because the property itself has taxes, has to be, let's call it, manicured to some degree so it doesn't overgrow, and the trees have to fall. When they do fall, they got to be cut up. It takes snow removal for such a big road. I mean, there's probably close to 1 million different things that I won't even mention that you need to sustain this property with. And that property, if it's not sustained, believe it or not, it just self-destructs, right? So what we're planning to do here is basically townhomes, fine townhomes for people that want to come and live in such a beautiful place as this. And some garden-type apartments. And we want to utilize the building, that's that conference center. And if you were to walk through that conference center with me, you would understand. It's immense to the point of where it's scary big, right? There's nothing really that we can do in there that's sustainable. It's very expensive to do this, but this is what I do. We would like to put some apartments in there so that we utilize the square footage that's there, utilize the beautiful windows that are there. And I'm going to go into this in 2 seconds. IBM built this to the highest specifications known to mankind at that time. And believe it or not, that was the height of America. I mean, I'm sure everybody in here can remember, at my age anyhow, 88, early 90s, America was thriving. You used to go to Home Depot, just opened, and everything was made in USA, right? This building was made like that. It was made with the backbone of USA in it. Like guys that, I grew up as a plumber. I used to drive into New York City working, and on the way home, I would look at the sun coming down, and I'd be driving back into City Island where I grew up, and I would say, this is the American dream. This is why my father came to this country. I'm almost a business owner. I'm 19 years old, and this is the American dream. Now, this was the American dream for so many different reasons, but believe it or not, we were blessed to bring it back from people that probably didn't deserve it, if everyone knows that story or not. But here we go. I won't get into details. With that, we plan to make this a gem and a crown jewel. And if we, I just want to show you some quick things, and if, you know, we can go on, and Peggy could jump in anytime she wants, but if we can go to the slides. So this is going to be the restaurant to the left, that you can come at any time. This is open to the public, and those chairs that you see. Oh, can you go back just to the restaurant 1 second? So that restaurant right there is a world-class restaurant. It's where the executives from IBM from all over the world would come and have a Saturday dinner, a Friday dinner. They would fly in with their helicopters. This is where they would eat. Anybody's going to be able to eat there, and right next door to it, there's a beautiful hall that you can have a wedding or anything else you'd want. There's going to also be some beautiful big rooms that are probably around twice the size of this for baby showers, things of that nature that you
Joe,
can rent that are affordable. Yes.
I love your animation, but we have a long night
Okay.
ahead of us. So
All right.
I'm going to just
All right,
ask
all
that
right.
you.
Hold on, I'm going to start and
Okay.
finish, and that's it, we're out of here. Jump.
No,
That's the-
not to be out of here, but we have a lot
Okay.
of slides to get through, and I.
All right, that's the
Maybe
deal.
just hand
That's the
off-
entrance. See the fountain? Oh, you want to do it? Okay, hold on. She's going to do the house stuff. Okay, hotel stuff. Okay, this is the hotel. That's going to be a bar that anybody can go and have a drink. There's also a pool that's attached to the hotel. That's the exact pool. That is the pool, just rendered up. That's what it's going to look like. There's going to be a spa. There's going to be a beautiful wellness center that anyone here, or me, hopefully, can go to if I have the time. There's going to be a gym. That is the restaurant that I talked about, the world-class restaurant. That overlooks the lakes. That's what's going to be there for the public. We jumped over there. That's the bar for the restaurant. And you'll have amenities of this such thing for business. If you have a kid, like we have kids that are 20-something years old, they look to go someplace, they end up in Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks. We want them to have a place to go and have a meeting or utilize technology, things of that nature. It will be there for a very small cost. There will be a coffee shop Saturday morning you want to go into, get a cup of coffee. The bike riders, I'm sure they're getting it up there too. There's going to be some small markets, and this is creative spaces, and there's a farm. And trails and walkways around the whole perimeter, which I like that, with some gazebos and things of that nature. That's cute. And I'm going to let Peggy go into this. Okay, all right, so I'm going to go quick. I was pushed, I was rushed, I got you. So we are not going to do anything without the committee's approval, but this is one rendering of what the townhomes would look like. That's another rendering of what the townhomes would look like. And that is a lounge for, let's call it the townhomes. You know, whatever they call it, a community, clubhouse. Those are the garden apartments. That's what they look like. That's an actual picture to the right of the lake and a little kid with his dog. That is looking over at the Palisades conference side where the apartments would be in. And that is the actual lake. The only difference is there's a kid there and it's dolled up not to look so terrible as it does now. Community benefits would be art centers. We'll have a hydroponics area next to one side of the property, things of that nature. Sustainable, long taxable income for the town is another thing that I want to mention. We're doing this in a way that we want to basically have the most taxes go back into your pockets, into this town, as far as possible. I am not a tax expert, but we are going to do everything we possibly could to sustain this town to the best possible degree that we possibly can. That's for certain. Anything else? Open it up for questions, or Teresa?
Yeah, Peggy, do you have anything you want to say? No, You grab it out of his hand there. He doesn't look like he wants to
Thank
give it
you,
up.
guys. And I know this is new for a lot of you, so appreciate you guys working with us on this short notice. And honestly, going forward, I think one of the things I want to just echo the points that Joe made, that going forward, we're going to include you guys and make sure we build something beautiful and turn this place into a gem that it should be, that Joe and I, when we first walk in, and Mark and Jerome, when we walked in, we just fell in love with the place and said, this is incredible, and we want to make it. You know, I've gone to this building when I used to be a student, actually, into the IBM campus back in the late 90s. And so I think it has so much amazing energy, and we just want to do good by this community and also make it sustainable. And that's part of the reason that you guys will see the number of units being higher, is just that's what it takes to make this place beautiful and remain beautiful and not be a failed kind of setup that they tried in the past. And thank you all for your time.
With that, and understanding there's a very busy agenda, we did just want to point out, we are not by any stretch, this is not an approval of the project. We are here tonight in a concept plan phase. We're presenting to this tonight, as Peggy mentioned. We're here to work with the community and continue to do so. So tonight is really just a sort of a continuation of the re-envisionment, that's a word, redevelopment of the property, and hopefully working with you all, continuing moving forward. You know, again, something that Joe was mentioning is our big push here is to get that hotel back up and running first, to try and get that done collectively while we work with you all towards this broader redevelopment vision. So there's a lot here that we look forward to speaking with you about, and of course hearing the public comments, but we're very early in the process. You know, we do appreciate that and all of your time tonight.
Okay, don't sit down. Do not sit down. You. I know the attorneys have been working on the agreement, and the clock is ticking. And there's a lot of moving pieces here, as you know. So I don't know where that's at, and I don't expect you to, but I do want you to understand the urgency of that needing to be taken care of, because there's provisions that we've been discussing that play into this whole proposal.
Indeed, and I see that Rob is about to comment, but maybe I can steal one quick point.
Supervisor's done.
I'm done.
So, this is on for discussing an amendment to the memorandum of understanding between the town and Reveal. Do you want to touch on that a little bit about what some of the discussions might be and what you're, willing to do in that regard? Like, why are you here, I guess, is the question.
Certainly, and to play off the supervisor's comments and those from Rob, we have been in continued discussions with also the town's outside counsel of Zarin Steinmetz, who are reviewing this with us. We have submitted some adjustment language, which for the most part focuses on the refined development proposal, but it does include important points about the intent of the developer to, again, make high rateable uses for the town, the commercial components, the townhomes, to make this project successful and to encourage it for the long term. We did have actually a call with council right before the meeting earlier this evening to discuss, and I think we're in general alignment on those terms for the MOU. So we have another call set up for tomorrow morning following tonight's meeting to hopefully have all of the MOU language buttoned up.
Okay, because this board's going to have a special town board meeting, and sometimes rounding them up can be a little bit of a, whatever. And the school district also needs to do it if there's going to be any, change on the tax settlement.
Absolutely. So we intend to have that fully that information fully committed to the town early tomorrow. Again, our call is set at 12:30, so sometime early afternoon that should be aligned so it can be circulated.
Okay. Okay. I guess I can start, and then we can take it from there. So I think most of the people here probably know the history. It's very long and sordid. But it actually starts before I was town supervisor, when H&A had gone to contract with Vasco Ventures to sell it and was going to put in a school. And then Vasco Ventures defaulted, and H&A got to keep $6 million, and they put it back on the market. What happened was, after I became town supervisor and COVID hit, obviously the hotel was, basically they were in financial issues. So that's when we started the process to do this request for expression of interest and see what we could do with the property. This is going back to 2020, I guess, or 2021. And again, you guys lived it, so I don't got to tell you. But, we went through the process, we chose Reveal. But the reality of it is that since that time, a lot has changed. And I think they told you, the building has sat there, utilities were turned off, vandalized, sinkhole, oil leak, you name it, animals in the building. The building that they came in and put their proposal was based on a very different building. So it changed all the financial end of it. And it also changed, obviously, from the market conditions. We all know how much money costs now. It's changed, especially in the commercial field, so whatever. So this is a recognition that what happened in 2021 is no longer viable. It's just not a viable project to do what they had proposed. With that said, we just received this revised plan with the more units on last Thursday. And we were just probably as surprised as most of you that the number of units had gone up, but recognizing that to pay SL Green, who now owns the property, what they're looking for, and to make the project sustainable, it's going to be more than what was originally proposed. Tonight we're not voting on anything, because as you heard, we are waiting on a revised memorandum of agreement or understanding, which would basically have some provisions in there that gives the town and the residents some comfort that the property is not going to be turned around and sold to somebody else right afterwards, and back where we started. So, as lawyers do, they've been back and forth on that, but that is vital to us agreeing to anything. So nothing's being voted on tonight because we don't have the language agreed upon. So there will be a special town board meeting. So it's really just tonight to hear what people have to say, the concerns they have, what specific issues would need to be addressed. And I think we're all very interested to hear what everybody has to say. So that's what I got to say. Anybody?
We have met yesterday, actually, to go over this, and there is an understanding that there has to be more units. This is more units than I would like to see. I'd like to see a few less, but I do understand the market and the way things are going. And we're not agreeing to the number of units tonight, but we are agreeing that there has to be some changes, and we'd like to see the MOU as quick as possible so that we can.
And to be very clear, even with the MOU, we're not agreeing to anything. It has to go through a process. We cannot legally just contract zone and say, yes, we'll give you that. So there still has to be a zone change, there has to be planning board, there has to be all the same steps that they would go through, and the town is not committing to anything. We can't legally do that, so I just want to make that extremely clear, too. So if...
But in concept, I think we at least agree to move forward. We agree with the concept.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, similar to Paul, it is a large parcel of property. I do want to see it smartly developed. I like a lot of things that I'm hearing today, and I think that as long as the lawyers can get together and put the right hooks in the contracts, yeah, and at least give us something more than just words, have it actually on a document to make sure that there are hooks in there that protect the town, protect the residents, and, again, take into their consideration of their comments that are bound to come throughout the process of getting the development going.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you. Do you guys want to, we would normally workshop, do you just want to do the public comment now and do the public comment? Okay. Okay, so then, if that's the case, can I get a motion to open the public comment?
A motion. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So the first one signed up to speak is Susan Nemezdi.
Yes, good evening. I'm Susan Nemezdi, Palisades, New York. And I can't express to you how concerned we are and how, shocked we were by the number of housing that suddenly came out of nowhere. I can't believe that this town board did not know for several months that there was some amount of housing, after years and years of working on this, that, that we were not notified until basically Friday. And as of Friday, we thought it was 140, and then found out suddenly yesterday that it was 340, proposed townhomes and apartments. I understand the need for it. I understand we were very skeptical to start with about the viability of this entire project, whereas the other two proposals both made it very clear that they could not do what they wanted to do with the hotel without residential housing on the property. The 350 is exactly, what we did not want, and we hopefully will be able to negotiate with the builders and somehow make it so that it impacts the property in the least amount, clustering, whatever. I do want to say that unfortunately I feel the town board dropped the ball on this. When we requested the financial backing for this company, no, we were not given any information. The other two proposals for the 180 townhomes and the movie studio gave us firm, legitimate financial backers with names, addresses, everything. We received nothing from the town, nothing from the developers. Now, again, we're at the point where we're against a wall, we're in a corner. They didn't get an extension for this, so the 17th is the deadline date. Our only other choice is, you know, to have a nonprofit purchase this, because there's one lurking in the background just ready to pounce on it. So I'm asking the board to please truly consider passing this MOA or MOU once you have all the paperwork and everything, you know, finalized. But I really think we have no choice, and we really want to work with the developers. We want to make this a gem, hopefully with fewer housing and as clustered as possible, but we have no choice. This is what has happened, and I'm just very sad that you didn't check into it at the time to make sure that the financing was backed for the originally proposed project. Thank you.
Carol Baxter?
Good evening. This is Carol Baxter from Palisades, New York. There are some board members who are new and may not be familiar with all the twists and turns, how we got here today. The Palisades community has had a very deep connection to the former IBM property since the 1980s. During the developmental process, IBM met with the Palisades community to make sure IBM's vision for this beautiful property also matched the desires of the community. The designers were committed to making a secluded refuge for all creative work of IBM scientists. For 5 decades, the word to describe this property was bucolic. The IBM Center had zero impact on our lives. It was hidden from view by forests that were purposefully untouched. It was a harmonious use to the community, and we all had access to the property by using the ballrooms and restaurants for special celebrations, and it generated taxes. When IBM sold to H&A, we were very happy that this use was continued, but when they were using it as a hotel, they were told that they couldn't, so they came to you for a zone change. Zone changes must be taken very seriously, which we did. We knew that they were getting ready to sell, but we wanted the next buyer to have the ability to use it as a hotel. So because we wanted that, we supported the zone change, but we added a restrictive covenant. So now the town has made steps to find the preferred buyer. We were totally committed. We asked continually to be a part of the process, to have a small group of Palisades residents in on the process. In fact, the 2 top contenders were through Palisades connections, one being the renowned architect and Palisades resident, Rick Cook. The Reveal team was selected. The last 2 years have been starts and stops. The community did not know until this past weekend that Reveal had a deadline to close on June 17th, and they needed to have this approval. It wasn't until yesterday at 1 o'clock that I learned that they had increased the townhouse needs from 30 to 40 townhouses to 342. This was beyond shocking. We are still in shock. A small group of us met with the team last night. We were told a number of times by the team that the residential units was just a conceptual plan, that this is not what it would be in the end. It is a disaster that we're under the gun right now. This is a team that's selected, and we're excited about working with them, and we know that there are other buyers waiting in their wings. We want to see this process started as soon as possible. This team is willing and agreeable to work with us, and we take their word to heart. I fully support the town's condition that the hotel must be developed first. No zone change is needed for that. And we hope that no residential zone change will be entertained until the hotel is completed first. I support the condition that the property cannot be flipped. The Revel team has used the word gem a number of times, as we have too, because we want the gem, all we want this gem to be. It is critical that we all work together, because we'll get the gem that you want and that we want. So all of us together, we're a team of 3 to do this. The opportunity is now. Let's just do it.
Rick Cook?
Thank you, Supervisor Kenny, Town Board. My name is Rick Cook. My wife and I are Palisades residents, and I wanted to thank everyone here tonight, everyone who couldn't make it tonight because it was such short notice, and also just the generations of people who have been wise stewards of our community since 1685. I'd also like to thank Supervisor Kenny and the Reveal team for persevering through an incredibly difficult time, through COVID, through HNA, which, if anybody knows that history, how difficult that was, and through SL Green to get us here. 3 years ago, we were one of the 3 shortlisted developers and had 3 critical points. 1, to protect and conserve this beautiful 106-acre site and the architectural masterpiece of Aldo Giurgola. 2, develop an economically viable and tax-paying use on the property. Number 3, provide jobs. We raised our 2 boys here since we've all been going through this. One's graduated from college, one's out of the Navy, and they're both back home. And we simply must find viable jobs for the next generation here in our community. My son commutes all the way to Lower Manhattan. My other son's going all the way out to the east end of Long Island for construction. So we must do these 3 things. None of that has changed. I will say that it absolutely hurt that you didn't choose a local resident with billions and billions of dollars of experience and a named developer who had a fund ready to fund the whole project. Instead, picked somebody from out of town who didn't have the experience. But I am here to support the revision to the MOU. That's what I'm here to do. And I would like to make sure that this revision includes some of the things that have been promised, which is to start with the hotel and get the hotel done first. I think it's absolutely critical after so many twists and turns also that we're protected against any kind of flip, whether that's a no-flip rule, however that is organized legally, or right of first refusal, or any other legal means by which we can be sure that the people we've now met, and we just met Joseph and Pega last night for the first time, that we know who it is that we'll be dealing with. And of course, you are legally bound, and we will all be going through the conventional process of a zone change with full public review. So I wanted to thank everyone for their time. I'd also like to say that for 3.5 centuries, Palisades has developed less than 550 homes. And in one day, we heard that 342 homes are being proposed on one site. In one day, we found that out. In fact, the reason this developer was chosen because they proposed a less intense use than we did. And now, 3 years later, I'm here supporting that, and I'm asking you to please support your community. You chose them. We're backing them now. We want them. I'm taking them at their word that they want to create a gem. Please protect our community. 3.5 centuries of wise stewardship, 550 homes. You're reviewing 342 homes in our neighborhood on one day notice. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate the care and the importance on everyone's mind of the project, and I wish you all the best, and I take you at your word that you're going to create a gem. Thank you.
Okay, so that's everyone who signed up. Does anyone want to speak that didn't? Eileen?
Good evening, members of the board, Supervisor Kenny. As Scarlett O'Hara's father said in Gone with the Wind, land, Scarlett O'Hara, it's the only thing that matters. Which brings us here tonight. You're being asked to approve a memo of understanding and not a revised land use plan. I think Rick said it very wisely, why we are concerned. And as we move forward, this project will take on perhaps a new plan. If approved, if the MOW is approved, it will allow Reveal to purchase the site from SL Green. They then will move forward with Phase 1 and begin work on the hotel/conference center so that it can reopen as in maybe a year, perhaps a good year. Phase 2 is the residential use, As in all cases, this developer will appear before all of our land use boards, et cetera, for approvals. And they are usually very concerned about the impact on traffic and community. So as time goes on, they will appear before these boards and present their project. We have also been promised full disclosure and meetings as the project moves forward. We have suggested renderings and dioramas of their plans, such as IBM did back in the 80s. At that time, our PCA, Palisades Civic Association, was very involved with IBM, and they were very, very forthcoming. So something to look forward to see their design plans. But over 3 years have passed since Reveal was chosen to develop the site. Today, I hope is the beginning of a future that will benefit not only Palisades, but all of Orangetown. And I'd also like to thank Mark and Jerome for sticking to it. 3 years, a lot of time, money, frustration, I'm sure they were met with. And so perhaps what they plan to do will be something that we will be happy with, but they really should know that the residents of Palisades, when they come out to a meeting, they are very serious and about protecting the hamlet of Palisades. I'm living there 53 years, and I've been involved with the Civic Association, which did wonderful, wonderful things to keep our community where it is today. IBM, tandem trailers, zoning, all over the place. So anyway, we are that type of a community, and we are a lovely, great community to live in. We're very friendly with each other, all across the spectrum. We respect each other, and we always think about the small hamlet of Palisades. Thank you.
She's going to have to turn that thing off. Okay, so is anybody, Mike?
Good evening, Supervisor Kenny, members of the Town Board, Michael Mandela, resident of Pearl River. Making the assumption that you're going to approve item number 20, which is providing assistance for the Pearl River Carnival, and number 22, as lending assistance to the Pearl River Fireworks. On behalf of the Pearl River Parks and Activity Committee, a nonprofit organization, I would like to thank the town for the assistance provided to make the carnival, which supplements donations from town residents and businesses for the 4th of July fireworks show and repairs to the Central Avenue field, as well as making the 4th of July fireworks show and musical introduction before it by a live band. It makes it a safe night and an enjoyable one for all who attend, so thank you for the assistance, hopefully.
Thanks, Mike. And if you wouldn't just mind saying your name for the record.
My name is Liz Bailey. I'm a resident of Palisades. I don't know much about construction or massive projects, but I do feel like this project moved from what was restoring a hotel and making it interesting for the local community to actually, with this number of apartments or residents added to the town, it's almost like another community that we're building, which is, I don't know, 60 or 70% of the total housing that we have in Palisades. So now we're really changing the entire complexion of this area. If you add that many more residents to the community, not only does it we already have many problems on 9W with traffic, et cetera, and I think it really does change the entire complexion of what makes Palisades unique, and that property has incredible foliage, et cetera, and I don't know how much of that gets displaced with all of these extra units and people living there, and it doesn't feel yet that it's really serving the community. It's in its full development. It seems like it's more of a just big development and not really a place where the locals would congregate. So it does concern me. So that's all I have to say.
Anybody else who hasn't talked? Susan?
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm sorry I'm sort of off topic of where everybody just went. But at the next public meeting, we're having the public hearing for RCW, as obviously everyone is aware. And I just wanted to pop a couple of thoughts into the town board's heads to consider, some things that we're concerned about. Some of these I think have been brought up, and you may know, I just kind of want to remind. I had a series of back and forth with Paul Karamanal, who's the Director of Legislative Affairs and Director of Wholesale for the SLA. And one thing that I think is important to note when you guys are looking at the new proposal from RCW, which I don't believe any of us have seen yet, is that the hours of operation and license privileges of a farm winery, I'm quoting from his email, are set by state statute, specifically the Alcoholic Beverage Control. And as a result, local municipalities may not place restrictions on the operations of any farm winery. That doesn't mean that you can't place any restrictions, but it does mean that you can't place restrictions on days and hours of operation, what can be produced, how they serve, and any of the things that are covered by the privileges of the license. It's really important for us to remember because those are things that have made up the bulk of past presentations by RCW. So we as a municipality cannot control those things. They follow the same laws. They could be open until 4 in the morning. So we need to think about that. Kind of in line with that, to think about, just remember the fact that the license is a manufacturing license at its heart. Farm wineries and farm cineries, 2 different licenses, almost identical. One can be on a farm, one doesn't have to be on a farm. They're manufacturing licenses, and nothing in previous proposals have gone into any of the issues of manufacturing. This Memorial Weekend, I was out in my garden and I noticed that a couple of people from the board appeared to come through and tour the production facility with Darren Van Houten, and I think it's important to note that the manufacturing and anything in terms of the facilities, material deliveries and removal, waste deliveries and removal, noise, lighting, access to any of the underage people who ride at the stable are not covered in this. I think it's important to note. I'd also like to note that, as you I'm sure are aware, Clarkstown just put up their own law for Clarkstown, not for us, obviously, dealing with farm wineries, farm cideries, and agriculture. And one thing that they clearly noted was a 300-foot buffer zone between a cidery, farm winery, and residential properties. And that's in line with the state of New York, not the specific buffer, but if you look, I've actually gone through the websites for every single farm winery and farm cidery in New York, which is over 100. Every single one of those either exists on an operating orchard with a huge buffer between themselves or is in an industrial area. Thank you for your time, and I hope you'll consider this.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else who wants to speak that hasn't had a chance to speak?
Hi, Richard Ellis, a resident of Palisades. Excuse me. I hear everything that the developers are saying as well as the community, and I think I think Orangetown and the residents need to decide, do they want to try to keep what we have or consider growing to something that's bigger and better, and more construction is perceived as being taking away what we have. So again, there needs to be a balance. But I own Ellis Sotheby's Realty, and so I think about development, and I don't like development, especially in areas of the county. But one thing Rockland County does not have is a luxury environment, and I've heard people talk about that in different parts of Orangetown as well. And a luxury townhouse community and luxury apartments and a Class A, hopefully, restaurant and spa will raise the standards of what we have here. And, people compare Bergen County as having those assets. There's no reason we should not have those things in this part of the county. So there has to be a balance between what is developed. I think it's a great plan, and I guess we're talking about units and access to the roadways and whatnot, but, getting the right formula, I think this is a wonderful thing for Rockland County and Orangetown.
Thank you. Is anybody else who has not had a chance to speak that would like to speak? Okay, seeing no hands, going to, oh, I see a hand. Okay, you got it. Up in time, just in the nick of time.
Hello, my name is Robert Zariga. I live at 34 Brightwood Avenue in Pearl River. I stood here 7 years ago talking about Cherry Brook and the flooding, the persistent flooding that has occurred between Bogert and Forest Avenue. So essentially, Cherry Brook is underground. It's basically a underground drainage pipe, except between Bogert and Forest, where it's basically an open pit. And myself and my neighbors around where I live, torrential rains, floods the street. The street is oftentimes impassable. So my neighbor and some other people have been in contact with James Dean and other members of the town, of the government. My neighbor to the east of me had a survey done. Her property extends somewhere, and my property extends in the middle of the brook, yet we can't do anything about it, and the town refuses to do anything about it. And we were also told if there's an injury, if kids go down playing in Cherry Brook and they fall, we're liable as homeowners. So for 7 years, we've been back and forth, and even before this, my neighbor's been back and forth well into the early 2000s, trying to get something done with Cherry Brook. So we're at it again. So here we are, trying again to get the town to either, pipe it underground like the rest of it, or do something to mitigate the danger and the liability for us as homeowners and taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who has not had a chance to speak that would like to speak?
Good evening. I'm Brian Clark, and I live at 45 Brightwood. This is my wife, Caroline.
I can hand them out. You want to just give them to me and I'll pass them down?
I'm here to speak about the same issue as Bob. The handout number 1, it's a News 12 article about a gentleman who died on Forest Avenue. He was electrocuted due to the flooding from the Cherry Brook. And as noted in the article, the residents urged the town to install larger pipes. That was 10 years ago. We're still waiting for this work to be completed. Just a few weeks ago, a woman who collects recycling from our street decided to walk down along the drain, and she almost fell in. Luckily, she didn't. But isn't it the town's responsibility to repair our infrastructure and keep us and our property safe? It's the lawsuit waiting to happen, so I'd like it fixed before that occurs. I've been working in construction about 40 years, and projects are complex, but you have to deal with the problems that arise. And it doesn't mean that you walk away from the project because it's difficult. You simply just have to work through them. That's why we have town engineers. Isn't that the reason? They're to help you work through these problems. Other engineers we've spoken to don't understand why this project was stopped. The cost for doing this project has increased considerably because nothing has been done for 5 years now. And the longer we wait, the more expensive it's going to be. Several other drainage projects larger than ours have been completed in Pearl River, but not ours. Why is that? Handout number 2, we've started a petition, and after a short time we have like 120 signatures. We expect that number to rise considerably once we start to publicise and canvass the area. And those people that we did speak to are appalled and frustrated that this project hasn't been finished, and they don't understand what's taking so many years. We just want our properties to be safe. So why can't we work together and get this project finished? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak that is on?
Hi, this is about the same project. Please refer to handout number 3. On January 30th, 2019, I received this email from Mr. Riley, the town engineer. In it, he details the findings of the engineering study and steps needed to repair the Cherry Brook infrastructure. He states that from the preliminary information we have, it appears that we will have to replace existing pipes as far south as Franklin Avenue and possibly south of that as well. This project has changed significantly in scope from the original intent and ballooned into a major project for the town. Nonetheless, Mr. Riley continues, once we have a finalized design, we will move forward with generating a cost estimate. After that, we will work with the town board to secure the necessary funds. This email is a clear indication that Mr. Riley was fully aware of the scope of the project and was moving forward with it. In fact, he stated that Phase 1 had already started. However, in September 2019, Mr. Riley came to a town board meeting and said that the project was now too complex and difficult. Why did Mr. Riley's opinion change so drastically in 9 months? The engineers we have had look at the study and at his email simply do not understand why this project was stopped. What changed? Nothing. He was well aware of the scope. Other drainage projects have been started and completed, but not the Cherry Brook. Why? I have spoken several times to Ken DeGennaro from the broker engineering company who performed the study on the project. He doesn't understand why it was stopped. I also have reached out to other engineers, in particular Michael Kilarakis, and he has said there's more than one way to do this. If Mr. Riley's not happy with the way this study was done, he can certainly come up with other ideas. There's more than one way to skin a cat. This is not the route we want to take, but we did speak with attorney Scott Albright, and he advised us that the town has a responsibility to get this hazardous situation resolved. 5 years is a long time for nothing to be done, especially since an official study has been performed and the town has been made aware many times of the problem. The town's inability to act has left us all, us and you, and the whole of Pearl River, open to injury, property damage, and costly lawsuits. Have we not waited long enough? I spoke with Mr. Riley yesterday. He did promise to be here, but I don't believe he is. And I hope he can offer some positive information about the project. If not, we do not want generalities like he offered on September 2019, that we need easements. We need specifics in order to fix these problems. If easements are the issue, we respectfully request exact information and an explanation as to what has to be done to correct these problems. If it is true that this project has become more difficult, then that does not mean we do nothing and leave hazardous situation uncorrected. All we are asking is for our property to be safe. Due to the change in weather patterns, this flooding pattern is only going to get worse. Please, let's work together and finish this project before someone else gets hurt.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak that has not had a chance to speak?
Good evening. My name is John Cho. I want a couple things, suggestion to town, that's why I come here. First of all, I'm taxpayer to couple $100,000 paid a year. I have 3 property to this town. I have a business. I need something change the law, please. My property has 2 old building. I tried to hire to the lawyer. Engineer is a young block. Lawyer is Donald Brunner. I hired them. I spent $120,000 already. But continue, I didn't do anything. I already to spend all money. Town has to need help the people. First of all, I have 100 years old to low 22 car parking spot. Now, 100 years later, 22 car parking to still continue, they make a ticket. Number two, they 100 years old, they low to couple $100 pay tax. But now to lot of pay around $40,000 pay year tax. Please, I need to change the law. Number two, we have to drawing to architect, engineer, 29 paper drawing to town. Why they want to make a reject? Because I love the town. I want to make it to nice town. But only to on Route 303, my building is so old. That's why I needed to change the 100 years old to change the price. Number three, they have a 3 times small than property on front to the law. They have to double 2 times more than parking to the couple garage. They never ticket. That's my property has to 3 times bigger than property, 22 car parking. I can bankruptcy, cannot pay the tax. Town want to do, nobody want to like that. That's why I needed to change the law, please. Number four, I have a 30 birch tree, they have a house. I have to my house to whole year, almost the whole year. My room has to water come in because no drain. We try to call to the town. Number 40, next house, call to the town, never fix. Now, they have to, starting to yesterday, they have a road because they new asphalt. They have a next building, they have a supermarket. They wanted to make a finished to road. My house is a whole house to 365 days, same thing to water coming. I talked to DWE, I tried to explain to them. They came to my house, they still water coming.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I'm going to have to, we have a time limit on it, so that's what the bell is. Can I ask you, can you email this information to my office?
Can I tell you one thing quick?
Yes.
I tried to directly to town hall, couple times I want a meeting to appoint. Never to appoint to accept. I have to Old Tappan to property. I talked to the mayor. I met to them 1 month. They fixed the mayor, fixed the 1 month, fixed everything. This town has to, I pay a couple $100,000, pay the taxpayer, but cannot do that like this to change something low, because main thing has to, I'm old, I'm cry, I'm pay too much tax, nobody help. I'm listen to the lawyer, town lawyer, I listen to the everything hired to
Mr. Chair, I'm
them,
going to have to,
cannot
I'm
do
sorry,
that.
we have a meeting.
I need the help.
Okay, but I'm not going to be able to help you tonight, so if you can email my office, because I picked up what sounds like you're dealing with the town attorney's office, I have to get the information from them before I can help you or not.
Thank you, but I'm limited in English. That's why I wanted to see that director. I went to your office a couple of times. I never to open the door because you never give it to me time. That's why I came here. I need to speak to them. I need help. Please, I want to make a nice town. I don't have a violation. I don't have anything. Other town, everything, mayor help me. 1 month finish. This town, I'm almost 20 years. I'm
Okay,
crying.
Mr. Cho, I'm sorry, but we have to stick to time. Everyone has time limits, so we're going to have to stick to the time. I'm happy to call the office tomorrow, and we'll see what we can do, but we have to move on. We have a whole meeting to get to.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that has not spoken that would like to get up and speak? Okay, seeing none, you want to finish up there?
Thank you, Supervisor, members of the board. Understanding you have a busy agenda, we again want to just thank you all, and especially the Palisades community too, that's come out. The town board has worked with us, their consultants have all. We're a team that's been committed to this project and remain so. So again, as we mentioned during our presentation tonight, we're going to get right on submitting the MOU updates and those details for the board's consideration, and we look forward to appearing before you in connection with that continued review for your special meeting agenda. All we have is, thanks, and we're going to continue to work at this. The team is committed. You have a great team here, and we look forward to continuing to work with all of you and, of course, the Palisades community moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, can I motion to close the public portion?
I make a motion to close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you want a workshop or just go through them and vote?
Let's answer the public portion, if there's any answers. Do we want Eamon to say anything, or Jane, about the two projects, or talk about review?
Jane, Mr. Cho, I think the reason Mr. Cho got up is because there's
On the agenda.
right, so I think, Jane, if you want to come up and just touch on that a little bit, there's, I said there's no violations, but I don't think that's accurate.
Good evening. There are multiple violations over at least 15-plus years. This is Route 303. Teresa, I don't know if you recall, the Tappan Fire Department actually wrote a letter about 6 years ago in reference to this property. They've been trying to get one of his properties legalized. Mr. Cho has been in and out of court long before I started. This has been a long process without compliance. We have taken every avenue that we can to try to obtain compliance, including Mr. Cho actually not showing up for some of his scheduled court hearings. So we have been left with no choice but to try to clean these properties up that are not in compliance with our town code, have not been for many, many years, actually pose a fire hazard as well, safety issues, and again, the local fire departments have expressed concern in writing to both, our department and, your office as well a few years back. So it's of grave concern at this point. We can't obtain compliance through the normal avenues.
Right, so as Jane's indicating, Mr. Cho has been in court here at the Justice Court numerous times and has been fined, and the conditions still exist. So maybe you can get into the conditions a little bit, but what we're asking this board to do is authorize my office to start an action in Supreme Court in New City, where the court would order him to clear his property and rectify and remedy the violations, because the Justice Court fines have not worked, frankly, in terms of...
We haven't been
getting him to
successful
comply.
in Justice
So
Court.
what is the condition in particular with respect to that property at 28 Route 303?
28 Route 303, and again, it's been a while since I looked at the actual charges, but there is excessive storage of tires, excessive storage of cars, unregistered vehicles, not in compliance with his site plan. It's a safety hazard, and there is the second property, same situation. And again, local attempts to do this, repeated violations, going to court, and just not getting compliance.
And Mr. Cho's been represented by counsel who was in court actually today, and they're aware that the board is going to be considering this tonight, his attorney, and, the intention is to start the action, and we'll, he'll have his attorney there, and we'll, ask the court to make an order to have him clear it. And if his attorney, if he can get it cleared before the court orders that, that's fine. But, it's taking it to Justice Court just doesn't seem to work right now.
Yeah.
15 years is quite a long time.
That's
And honestly, Paul, it may be longer than that, but I've been here 7 years, and I know it was way before I started, so, but I know it's at least 15 years.
Okay, thank you. No, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, there's no, once the public portion is closed, there's no more. So that, okay.
And this,
okay,
just,
Yes.
I was advised that this was the situation in court this morning,
Okay, so,
so.
okay, okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, okay, thank you, James.
Should I?
Okay.
No, here it comes.
Okay, so, do we want to workshop our items, or just go through them?
You can workshop. Well, one's a hearing.
Don't. What's that, for closed session? Yeah, okay, well, I want to go with, no, well, we're going to do it maybe in executive session.
You want to have Amy come up? I think,
No, I'm going to go into
Okay.
executive session with
That's fine.
Eamon. Okay, can I get a motion to go into executive session?
to discuss
Go into executive session.
about the commencement of the litigation?
Yes.
matter? Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have, actually, I'll call, if they want, I'll call you in.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Johnson. Oh, God, I should start drinking before I come to these meetings. Okay. Okay, so can I get a motion to come out of executive session?
I make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So why don't we just go to the agenda items? Agenda item number 3, you have a public hearing. Oh, geez, we probably should have done this earlier. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing regarding the agreement with Cablevision of Rockland for their franchise agreement?
Motion open.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so, yep.
I'll start with, so this is Frank Oliva with Cablevision? Optimum. He and I have been negotiating this several months, I guess you would say. I've also, and if you'll see, there's also something on there for Verizon. We're going to have them next month. So if you want to take it away, Frank. And
Sure. Thanks, Rob. Supervisor, member of the town board. My name is Frank Oliva. I am the Senior Director of Government Affairs for Optimum. We deliver cable television and internet to the residents of the town of Orangetown. This franchise agreement is based on the previously adopted agreement that the town board adopted in November of 2008 and approved by the PSC in 2009. This franchise is for a 15-year term and becomes effective upon confirmation by the Public Service Commission. The service area that we operate in is the entire town proper. Our hybrid fiber coax network is a fiber-rich network that provides best-in-class service to the residents and businesses within the town. This agreement provides for free, among other things, free basic cable television services to over 40 municipal locations, including every school, library, and firehouse within the town, as well as additional town facilities. We also provide a grant for the support of the public education and government access channels that the town puts on. This agreement also provides the maximum franchise fee allowable under the federal law of 5% of our gross cable revenue. I'm happy to answer any questions.
yeah, and just a couple quick points. This is pretty much identical to the contract that Verizon has. If you want to just touch on that.
Yeah, so, thanks.
Or will have.
So Verizon went first in the last round of renewals, or I guess at that time it was their initial franchise. We then subsequently in 2008 adopted their model pursuant to the state cable regs. There are level playing field requirements for the cable operators within a municipality. So at that time, we decided that it would be in the town's best interest to adopt their model. So we very closely related to their existing franchise, and I'm sure their renewed franchise.
Thanks. And last thing, the agreement includes a grant for public access channels, educational channels, and government channels. And again, we had some back and forth on it, and both Verizon and Cablevision have agreed to a one-time $60,000 grant for those purposes. So, and again, I've brought in Jeff Bensick and Matt Lenahan on this just for, to the extent it impacts on them. So that's about it.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Can you get our timers working? Because we're trying to get our timers working, and it seems to be having a lot of trouble with it, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a
Okay,
government,
maybe
I don't know if
outside
you
the
want me
scope.
up there,
Okay.
I'm government affairs and a lawyer, so I don't know if I'd mess it up more, so.
Okay.
I could talk to it, though,
Okay. Is there anybody who would like to speak on the public hearing regarding the franchise agreement with Cablevision? Okay, hearing nobody, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, can I get a motion to, under SECRA, basically a negative SECRA declaration regarding the renewal of the Cablevision franchise agreement? Motion?
Move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 6, can I get a motion to approve the franchise agreement with the Cablevision of Rockland Rampo LLC for a 15-year renewal term. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks, Frank.
All that time just for that.
With a lot of time.
Okay, so number 7 now on this topic is the setting a public hearing date for the renewal of the franchise agreement with Verizon of New York. So we are going to set it for July 23rd, 2024 at 7:05 PM. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Number 8 is our approve the 2024 high school project graduation funding. We do this every year because it's a good thing to do. So can I get a motion?
I'll second.
Favor? Aye. Number 9, a pet peeve of mine, approval of another 2024 certificate of sewer registration to MCM paving and excavation. Motion?
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So just while we're on this, I have proposed to the town attorney's office that we do something with our local law that allows the town attorney or Eamon, whoever the heck approves these things, upon submission of certain documents, they can approve it.
I agree.
Because it comes every meeting and, you know, he says it's easier for us to approve it. I go, yeah, as opposed to
It's
you doing a
easier for
local
me to
law.
approve it, yeah. For me, if you guys
Okay,
approve it,
so
but
you
we'll do the
heard.
local law.
I have a consensus of the town board.
All right.
Consider yourself assigned. Okay. Number 10 is authorize the town attorney to file injunctive action in New York State Supreme Court regarding the properties Route 303 auto repair, I guess 28 Route 303 and
30 Birch Tree Road.
in Tapan. And pursuant to our town attorney's explanation, can I get a motion?
Move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 11, combine approve items 12 to 14. So 12, we have adopt a spot for the McMahon family on 2 Stickletown Road, Pearl River. Adopt a spot from Blue Sky Landscape, the traffic island on Dutchess Drive and Orangeburg Road, and adopt a spot on South Middletown Road and Linda Road. How does that say that is? Who's doing that one? Oh, a volunteer, okay, they don't really say who it is. Osith George, okay. So can I get a motion to adopt and approve items 12 through 14?
Motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 15, accept a donation of a memorial bench. I don't think Jim's here tonight, but this is for Jim. That's going to be at the Homes for Heroes bioretention pond. So that's rest and enjoy God's blessings, Donnie and Jimmy Dean. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next one we have is accept a donation of memorial bench over on the Blauvelt section of the Joseph B. Clark Rail Trail in loving memory of Albert and Catherine Piscatelli. Their dreams came true in Blauvelt. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 17, member of understanding with the County of Rockland relating to the Regional Investigative Resource Center. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 18 is what the chief mentioned earlier, grant permission for Officer Michael Warren to attend a less lethal instruction course.
Motion. Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Then we have a combine and approve. We have approved lend assistance to the Pearl River Carnival, approved lend assistance of the Showmobile to the Gowdy Memorial Fundraiser, approved lend assistance to the Pearl River Fireworks on July 4th, approved lend assistance of the Showmobile to Bastille Day on July 13th in Piermont, and approved lend assistance to the Rail Trail 5K Saturday, September 14th, 5K. Okay. Can I
Motion to
get-
combine.
And approve.
And approve, sorry.
Okay, you made it?
Yes.
You second it? All in favor?
Aye.
Carmel, what is the date of our race? October? We should not be letting them be encroaching on our race. No, I know, but still. Okay. I guess we can share. Okay, number 25, accept and receive the town board minutes in the town clerk's office. Motion? Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
On the audit? No.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
The audit for tonight's meeting consists of 3 warrants for $2.6 million. Items of interest, number 3, Department of Civil Service, $1 million for healthcare benefits. Number 5, Capital Industries, $58,000 for the demolition of Old Town Hall. Number 12, Ingersoll Auto, $67,000 for sewer dump truck, that's bonded money. Number 18, Pat Corsetti Incorporated, $228,000 for the Elizabeth Place Playground, that's grant monies. Number 19, Rockland Paramedic Services, $127,000 for June services. Number 20, Seal Coat USA, $103,000 for highway surface treatment, bonded money. Number 22, Sport Tech Construction, $136,000 for the Franklin Street basketball court, that's also grant money. Number 23, Troon Golf, $198,000 for the June golf course management fees. And number 24, Vanis Construction, $125,000 for GC for the new town hall. Any questions on the audit?
Yeah, just number 26, we're reimbursed for that, right?
Correct.
Okay, I think we should make a note when it's reimbursed so people know that that's our outside counsel for the H&A property, so, okay. Okay. Any questions? Anybody else got questions?
I make a motion to pass the audit.
I got a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we do have to go into executive session to regard the sale of property might affect value, what it is, okay? We do have an adjournment in Chester Lubeck, we believe from Blowville, is that what we?
Yes.
Blowville, okay, Blowville, New York. So we are going to go into executive session.
Can I add one for German? Joe Ganane, my neighbor's father. He passed.
sorry?
Joe Ganane, my
Joe-
neighbor's father.
G-I-N,
Guianne.
Ginane. It's just GI.
I will have them check that because I wrote it down wrong. And that's from Pearl River?
Yeah.
I wrote G-I-N.
That's right.
Okay. So we are going to be not voting on anything when we come out. So can I get a motion to go into executive session?
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay. And just for the record, the meeting is concluded, correct?
The meeting is concluded. The meeting is concluded.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, no, I'm sorry, there's no more public